What's tea? What's tea? What's tea? I want to thank everyone here for joining us today that's out there in Facebook land, Instagram land, or wherever you are. We have a wonderful show prepared for you guys this evening. The name of this show is Your Very First Time. But before we get into questions and everything, we're going to go around and let everyone introduce themselves. I'll go first. I am Mulan Williams. I am the outreach coordinator for Miracle of Love, as well as the executive director and founder of Divas in Dialogue. Go ahead, Natalia.
My name is Regina Livingston. I'm the founder and executive director of Unspoken Treasure Society.
Hey, once again, my name is Aja. She, her, hers. I am an advocate and activist for trans women for over 30 years. I'm currently serving on the advisory board for the Divas in Dialogue, which is a support group that we have for trans women of color. And it's with the side of the Miracle of Love organization. All are welcome, though. We don't just do girls of color. But I have one fun fact. Out of all, I haven't met Colleen. Today's my first day meeting him. Hi, how are you, Colleen? Okay. And but of all the ladies I'm already friends with, we have a wonderful relationship. But of all the girls, I've known Regina the longest. Natalia, I've known her the longest. Quick story, I met her, I was attending my studies at the University of Florida in Gainesville. And I met her twin brother, and he was a little feisty something too. Yeah, she has a twin brother. But yeah, I've known her actually the longest. And I'm so sorry that the other girl couldn't be here today because I wanted to share a little story with her as well.
Okay, once again, I'm Dora K. Bosch from Central Florida. I am very happy to be here. I'm excited about our discussion tonight, and I have been brainstorming about it, so it's going to be very interesting. And it's always good when you can use what you've been through to help someone else.
My name is Kaleem Gibson. I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida. I am a peer specialist advocating for those dealing with drug and alcohol addictions. It's an honor to be here. Through this panel, I've met some beautiful women and some very strong, empowered women, and thanks for having me.
Yes. So we're going to jump right into it, and I'm going to start off with asking this question. I'm going to let Aja answer first, and then everyone else can just popcorn in. When was your first time getting high? Who was with you? And did you feel pure pressure, or was it your idea?
Can you hear me? Okay. My first time, actually, I was alone. And the reason why I was alone is because I was new to a city, and I wanted to fit in, and it took me back to like high school, like where I wasn't wanted or I felt unwanted. I wasn't the in crowd. My socioeconomic status probably wasn't what they like, whatever, but that's when I realized I was different. So I was always searching for friends. And coming here, there were a lot of girls, but they were all doing drugs. And I wanted to be their friend, so I wanted to try the drugs. I didn't want to go ask them for it. So I bought the stuff and I went along and I tried it, but I didn't get high. I didn't know how to, I just didn't get high. So moving along, one night this is the first time I very first felt a high. I met this female, I befriended her, and I asked her, I said, teach me how to get high. And she looked at me like, what? I said, I'll pay for it. You know, I just want to get high, I want to learn. So she set it up, and it was like a feeling that I probably would never forget. I still remember that feeling today. And that's pretty much where the addiction started, like day one. And we'll get further into the conversation more on.
My very first time getting high, I was with a young man, in Jacksonville, Florida. And I had a huge crush on him. I thought he was just the heaven, the moon, the stars, and the earth. And we were sitting in the car and we were talking, and he pulled out a bag with a white substance in it. And I was looking like, what's that? And so he took some sniffs in his nose and he asked me, do you do this? And I was like, uh-huh, I do it. And he was like, okay, here. So I took it and I mirrored what he did. So that was my very first experience of getting high. I felt very numb. I felt very, it gave me this weird feeling. I was vibrating. I was numb. I felt loose. I felt a little wild. So, that was my first experience. And we'll go further as we continue the forum tonight with some other things.
Dora or Kaleem?
Oh, I'll go. Well, my first time I was in Jacksonville, Florida. I was with my brother, Red. I was at this dude named Samuel Hutsey house. Also who was there was my now mother, Natalia Dupree. They had a big plate, I remember, and it was the other child was there. Dee O'Brien, everybody was there. They had this big old plate. And I said, how'd that make you feel? So they's like, Miss Thing, you're already crazy. Don't get on your phone. Don't answer no door. Don't look out the window. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Everything they told me not to do, I did it. And it made me extra paranoid because I was like, it was 3:00 in the morning. I wanted to call my mama for some reason. I'm glad I didn't. But I wanted to call my mama. I was like, because I never, had that feeling before. And that was the door opening to different drugs and the gateway. So yeah, that was the first time.
Okay. So I have kind of a two-parted story, and part of sharing our message is sharing time. So I'll make this short and sweet. So the first time that I actually got high was with marijuana. And the reason why I decided to make this a two-part story is because people don't necessarily identify marijuana as a drug, but me and my extracurricular profession as a peer specialist, I'm here to tell you marijuana is a drug, period. The first time I got high was actually with marijuana, and I was with a couple of other guys, and we would cut school all the time, and they would smoke, and I would watch them, and I would just watch. I'm a watcher, and one day I just decided to smoke. I wasn't peer pressured. I just felt like I wasn't fitting in with them. I felt like, every time they smoked, they'd be over here and I'd be over here, but we all hung together. And when they were done, I'd go back with them. It was just, I don't even remember who they were, to be honest with you. It was just the group of friends that I was in, that I was with in the 7th grade. Fast forwarding a little bit, the first time that I actually got high, where the high was significant, I was in Camden, New Jersey, and some things had happened and altered my life to where I decided that I wanted to be the dope boy, right? And I started selling crack cocaine. And fast forwarding a little bit, I got to see that people would do almost anything for it. So I began tricking with it. That was my means to get whatever I wanted from whoever it was that used that substance. And there was this one person, and this person, like you, Regina, like I just thought this person was just like, wow, I can't even believe you do this. Like and the curiosity got the best of me, and I was still chicken. I had them give me what's called a shotgun, and that's where they inhaled it, and then we locked hands, and they blew it in my mouth. I didn't feel anything, so I, of course, wanted another one. I still didn't feel anything. The next thing I'm in the bathroom with the door locked, the light out, smoking. And that was the first time that I actually got high. And it was with, somebody that was selling themselves for some drugs.
Wow. Now the next question we have, like, we've all heard the saying that drugs change a person. Don't put that against them. They're not who they usually are. So that brings me to this question: who were you when you got high? Who were you? How was your personality? For me, my addiction was to soft white cocaine. Um, when I got high, I thought I was above all. I'm not gonna lie, my nose went up in the air. To me, it was a white rich woman's drug. So I used to walk around like my shit didn't stink, and and I probably made a few enemies doing that, but that was who I was. So who were you guys?
For me, I was a battle cat. When I would get high, it made me want to fight. I wanted to prove, I felt that I needed to prove my dominance over the room when I was high. Growing up, I was bullied somewhat. I wasn't raised by a parent that told me to go to go fight. I wasn't raised by that type of parent. My parent told me to go and tell. So there was a lot of situations where I was bullied. And so once I grew out of being bullied, it took me just getting tired, and I just exploded, and it was a bad situation. So to get back to who I became on drugs, it was like I needed to show my power. That's what it took me to. I needed to fight. I wanted to fight. I had a problem with everybody. It made me controversial and combative all the time. So I was not myself when I got high, honestly. A lot of people say that's just an excuse or you're just saying that. I honestly was not myself because that's not who I was. That's not who I am. And I am so glad to have a handle on my addiction today.
Kinga?
For me, initially, when I was getting high, I became like very sexual. It made me feel like I was wanted. It gave me everything that I was missing without it. But and then further on, I became back lonely again. I mean, I was isolating myself, and I was like really paranoid. Feels like everyone was out to get me. Like, oh, like everyone was around me was trying to get me. So I decided to stay alone. And also this fear of death. I mean, there was so many girls around me that were dying, like weekly. And I was like, I didn't understand. So that when I got high, my mind told me that I was going to die. And, I wasn't ready to die. And I mean, I was really, really paranoid. And further down in the line, I would explain that, like it did come true. Like I almost died. And yeah, I mean, it gave me different, I mean, whatever that high gave me, I reacted on. And all of them were like crazy. And I didn't want to live that way. Dora?
Okay, with me, I can relate to Milan and make you feel like you're that rich white woman, and I just used to like to get my makeup and sit in front of the mirror and do my makeup. And then it got worse once I got into the escorting world, because I had to get into this character to be somebody to do something that I really didn't want to do. But it's for money, and it was drug driven, and it brings you out of the character who you really are. But yeah, that's basically it.
So for me, my drug made me a beast, period. I was a beast. I lived to use and I used to live. You know what I mean? If you had what I wanted, I was willing to do whatever it took for me to get it, and it really affected my relationships, the ability to have relationships. Like the extent of me befriending somebody was totally contingent upon how long it took for me to figure out what you had in your pocket, and again, how long it would take for me to get it. You know, there was no. I was just superficial. I didn't care. I just wanted to get high, and if that meant that, if I was talking to a white guy, it was, hey, what's up, dude? How are you? If it was a black guy, what's good, my boy? You know what I mean? If it was a gay guy, hey, boo. You know what I mean? It didn't matter. I was whoever. I chameleonized myself according to my surroundings in order to get whatever it was that I wanted. And it usually was my drug of choice. I it just it made me a beast. And I'm gonna be honest, it made me freak. I wanted to have sex. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to take a Miami blast. I wanted to do whatever. I wanted to, what I mean, do kinky stuff like, just, let's do this right here outside. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the kid, I didn't want no kids to see me. So, anything past 2:30 p.m., we just wasn't, but I was a risk taker. I was an exhibitionist. Like and looking back, just, we'll get to the looking back part, when we sum things up. But that's what it was for me. I was a beast. I would fight you, and then I'd share what I just stole from you in order to have sex with you. That's the story of me and what it did to me.
And that's one thing I went through too. The sex was amazing when I was high. I used to go into my closet because I didn't want any light to come in. I go in there with my trade or my boyfriend. And after that, when that high's coming down, I'm in the closet, no lights, and we going at it. Yeah, sex was a big part of the drug use for me as well. Yeah. Now, when we talk about this next question, when did you realize that you were really addicted? Like, what was that point that you was like, I really got a problem? When was that? And looking back, can you remember anyone trying to help you not get to that point before you got to that point?
Well, for me, my addiction became something that I realized once I was homeless. Once I was riding around Atlanta in a stolen vehicle with nowhere to go. That was the point that I realized I had a problem. I had a real problem. And it was so many people that tried to stop me as I was jumping over this ledge. My gay family, and that's one of the reasons why I honor them to this day. I would never, ever not honor my gay family. Naisha Dupree, whom is my gay mother, put together a panel of people and they did an intervention. And I took that intervention as such a huge slight because I felt like I was so fabulous and I was so this and so that. And baby, I am rich. And how dare you come tell me something about drugs and an addiction and this and that? I really felt some type of way. And so when I was riding around that city, this was years later, of course, but when I was riding around that city with nowhere to go and just lost, I had to remember that the people who loved me tried to save me. And I those are things that I never forget.
For me, I realized it's similar to Natalia's story. After selling my body all night long, and when morning came, I had nowhere to go, nowhere to live, didn't have hotel money. I didn't have no one to go to because no one else had anything to offer me because, by that time I was isolating myself anyways. But I'm walking up and down the street. And it's so funny because I remember that day like it was yesterday. And I remember I actually had like 40-something dollars in the bank that had been sitting there for years. And limited, mind you, I still have that same account, but that same, I had 40-something, not knowing where. I mean, I had forgot all about the $40. It had been sitting there for a couple of years. So I realized that, and I was like, you know what? Let me go walk to this bank and let me go try to see if I can get this little money out. And I got it, and I got a room, but that was actually the first time I realized that I was addicted and like couldn't stop. And back then, no one tried to help me quit. No one tried to help me stop, because everyone was doing it. They were trying to keep you on it. It was, they didn't want you off of it. They wanted you to be on it so that you can be around them. But I mean, it was a very scary time for me. Dora?
Okay, for me, when I first realized I was addicted, because my big thing used to be looking good and having my makeup done perfectly. And I started noticing that when I looked in the mirror, I wasn't that person that I used to be. And thinking to myself, why nobody ain't telling me, that you don't look the same, you're slipping. And there were people coming to me with that, but you ignore that because you're mostly with people that do what you do, because you separate yourself from those people that will help you. And I had lost a lot of weight. I got down to 130 pounds. I lost all my clothes. I lost apartments. I started losing everything. And I lost me. I lost myself. And I was, after like really starting to listen to people that had your best interest in mind, that's when I just knew, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to talk to. I want to be someone who can stop people from being where I was, because it got really, really bad. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I can actually identify with that to some degree. So when I first realized I was an addict, it was when the dope man said, "You need help." you know, the dope boys started telling me, "Hey man, like you better than this. Like you ain't got to live like this." But I reduced myself to animalistic behaviors, as I shared earlier. But what really made me realize that I had a problem was when my mother would no longer allow me in her home if she wasn't there. That's when I knew I had a problem, and it was beyond my control because my mother was always there. She was my biggest fan, still is, especially now. But when she said, "I love you, you can come and shower," and what brought that about was she was going to the store and I was just sitting on the couch flicking channels, and she said, "Okay, you coming to the store with me, or what you doing?" And I said, "No, I'm about to chill." She said, "No, you're not." And me thinking that she didn't notice the money I was stealing. She didn't notice the stuff missing off of the shelves and her ring and. Oh, wow, that brought back a lot of memories. Um, but that's how I knew that I was an addict, when my mother no longer would let me stay in her home if she wasn't there.
That's deep. That's deep. Thank God for change, huh?
Amen.
And it's something special you said. She's still your biggest fan. Yeah. Before I go to the next question, I realized I had a problem when I couldn't go to the beat without a bag, without a sack. That was when I first realized it. And then it really hit me again when I was doing time in the county and I was buying psych meds to crush up and sniff. That's when I really knew Like, girl, you a cokehead. Like, that's just, it don't make no sense. To be in jail, having to put something up my nose, it just, I needed that feeling. But the next question, every day is a new journey and a choice to stay clear from drugs. Besides yourself, who did you want to straighten up for and clean up for? We know we all did it for ourselves first and mainly, but who was it that you wanted to show that you can do better? And I'll go first. For me, it was Angelica Sanchez was one of the people. And I say that because when I was going through my addiction, I used to call this woman crying and be like, girl, I am a fucking cokehead. And I'm just being transparent. I used to be like crying. And she'll be like, it's okay, Moo Moo. You know what you need to do. It's going to happen. You're going to stop. She never judged me, never treated me different. She just always encouraged me, but not pressuring me. So when I did finally get clean, when I was out of prison, it was just so good that me and her could sit and talk about that. And I was just so happy that she was so proud of me for kicking the bucket on that.
For me, the first and foremost was just me, because no one else on this earth knows how it feels to be you strung out on drugs. The second person was God, because I walked with God all these years of, let me switch that around. God walked with me all these years of getting high, and he kept me safe. He kept me safe. He kept me covered. His blood was upon me, because I know if it wasn't, I'd be dead. So the two people that was most important to me was self and Father God. And I know he still walks with me, because when I slip, he's there to pick me up. If I fall to the side, he's there to push me back over straight up. So I have to say, he was one of my biggest influences to start getting my life back together. I'm still a recovering addict, and I'm still fighting a good fight.
For me, there were actually two people besides myself. Of course, we wanted it for ourselves, but it was first for my mother. It's like I couldn't bear to see her hurt. And I've always, because my mother did not raise me to be out here, to be worried about me. So it was back one time when this guy I was in my hometown, and me and this deceased girlfriend of mine, we were smoking inside of an old grocery store freezer outside. It was outside. And it was true, but I don't know how he saw it. This guy from my hometown, it reported back to my mother that me and my friend girl was in a freezer getting hot. And I'm like, I didn't think no one seen me. And of course I lied to her and told her no, it wasn't true. But when I went home to visit, it's like she gave me that look. She immediately started cooking. And I mean, I just can tell. And that hurted me. It hurted me so bad. So I promised myself I'll fight and fight every day to try to stop. Because it was more so that she's already worried because I was trans. She had heard I was prostituting. People talk. Anyways, it got back to her, and she was already worried about me because she knew that my life was already going to be hard. And I didn't need that additive added on. So that was one of my good reasons. My second reason is this girl from Gainesville. Regina knows her, but I'm not going to call her name. But I idolized this girl. I really idolized, and I almost wanted to be her. They thought that we were like twins or something. Everything she did, I wanted to do. Anyways, she got word that I was getting high here in Orlando. So when I went to her, she kind of shunned me off, which was another hurt. It's like she didn't want any dealings with me. It hurt, I mean, today, but back then, oh, it hurted me so bad because I needed her. You know, I needed her support. She didn't want to support me. So I was like, okay. So I came back and I did get myself back together. And guess what? I went back to her. By the time I can get back to her, the tables have turned. She's on drugs. And this may sound cruel, but honey, it felt so fucking good to rub it in her face. And I don't feel that way now, but back then, yes. I mean, I was like, oh, yeah, see, bitch. And not only that, I didn't stop there. A couple years later, I brought her here to see how good I was doing. Let her stay tonight and everything. Let her stay with me and everything. But guess what? I was so messy, I wouldn't even feed her. I was still hurting. You know what I told her? I said, you got to take your ass out on the trail and get you some money. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it sounds very cool, but yes, but I was hurting because I really needed her. And now that she needed me, I turned my back on her ass too. But now, and today she's still in that same place. And it's been 30 some plus years for me. So, but now I feel bad for her. Dora.
Dora?
I'm here. What was the question again?
I can't get over Asha. I am tickled.
Milan, I am too. I'm sitting up here. Audrey have put me in a state of panic.
Me too.
and Asha and Regina take right here like, oh my God.
Me too.
I see you, Khalid.
Did you see me holding my chest? I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. But
Lady.
Dora, the question was, it says, besides yourself, who did you want to straighten up for? Who did you want to get cleaned up for? Who did you want to stop drugs to prove to them that you could?
Okay. It was a group. It was a group of people. A small group of people. And they told me the truth. They told me the truth. It was, the women were you, Mulan, Natalia, and Angela. And also actually Aja too. Like y'all so Aja told me, he said, girl, as long as you're on that stuff, don't come to my house. and the reason why she said something about the lashes, because I remember saying, oh girl, you got all them lashes, give me one. She said, yeah. When you take your money and you buy your some stuff, you can get you some lashes. So you know what? I was like, you know what? That made me really want to get myself together. It was my mother too. My mother passed away 5 years ago, and I just knew that after she died, I was not the same person. I didn't have the same drive. I didn't take care of my responsibilities like I used to, and I let myself go. And she was there, and I wanted to, make her happy. But them for women, like y'all, those words, because Natalia said, girl, you look bad. And you know what? That's the stuff we need to hear. Girl, you look bad. You're always calling me for money. And I just wanted to be not looked at that person, because I was always before an image person, and I lost myself. And that's what it takes for somebody to tell you the truth and come from some good constructive criticism, because that good constructive criticism from these ladies, it sowed a seed in me. And that's why I'm here right now. And it's hard, and it's a struggle, and the devil comes in different kind of ways to tempt you, to bring you back. But when you think about, I don't want to be that person no more. I don't want to look like that no more. I want to be able to buy me some lashes. You take a hold of that. And once you get soaked in it, it just feels so good to be looked at like, look at Dora. Dora is looking good. Dora is doing good. And that motivates me. Every time I wait every month for this show, because it's my motive. It's like, I made it another month. You know, some people say like day by day, but it's like a whole pressure of a month. And the devil comes all kind of way. He'll send a fine boy, but the boy is a big drug dealer. And you don't even know that. That's a setup and a trap. So I learned that I want to be this person and not that person. So, yeah.
And I'm grateful you said my name, because at one time, girl, yeah, I thought you hated me because I know my mind.
Oh, yeah. Y'all was very much the Mean Girls Club.
But it was out of love, because I saw, like, before you went down, like, this door is slightly hot. Like, what is she doing? You know? So I'm so happy. And yeah, I'm happy, girl. I'm really happy for you. I really am.
Slightly hot.
No, because she was already. No, because when I met Dora, she was already going. Like, I didn't know Dora before. Or if I did, I like didn't remember. But when she came around, I was like, oh, okay, she be dressed nice and and everything like that. And then it started going down, and I'm like, girl, this not the Dora I met. Like, what's the tea, girl?
Right.
So it was like that, but it was love. It really
Right.
It was love, and that love was
than her.
strong enough to take. I just said, look, girl, I love y'all, but don't come to my house if you high. Don't come to my house if you're that stuff. And I was like, I walked across the street because I lived across the street from her there. I walked home. I was like, oh. But the thing is, that was the truth. You don't want those people that's like where you used to be around you, because you don't want to be contaminated. And I understand that now.
right.
And
Absolutely.
I thank y'all. I thank you. I thank you. And Natalia told, girl, you look bad. Look at you. You look horrible. And I cried, and I called her some 4-letter words behind her back, but it was what I needed to hear. And I thank you for it. And I love you, and I thank you for it.
Absolutely. You said, you had said some things that I can actually identify with that. And one of those things was my older brother actually said to me one day, because when my mama didn't let me stay there, my brother kind of took me in, and he said, Colleen, he said, are you sick? That's how bad I looked. And that hurt. That hurt. That hurt. It still hurts. You know what I mean? It still hurts because of, like, it makes me think about what I put them through. Like, the disease of addiction is a family disease. You know what I mean? It's not just about us. It's about the people that love us too. But the good news about that is that our families do recover as well, provided we give them the atmosphere to do so. So y'all know I'm complicated. So, who I got clean for and who I, attempted to change my life for actually changed throughout the course of my journey. It started out with my mother. You know what I mean? I wanted to be back into her good graces. I wanted her to see the Kalimi that she gave birth to, and the Kalimi that rode on an ambulance and saved lives as a New Jersey state certified paramedic. The Kalimi that would give the shirt off of his back and had a shirt to give off of his back. And then it became my son. You know what I mean? I left my ex-wife and just walked away and stayed away for 5 years. My son was 7 years old, and I walked away from him. And every time that I tried to get clean, he was my motivation. It would be Joshua. I got to do this for Joshua. But looking at me, and I'm just talking about an addict named Kaleem, not until I decided to get clean for myself did it last. That's why I'm still clean today, because I got clean for myself.
Yeah.
Through God's grace, I got clean for myself. So it's a gnat flying around in here, and it's driving me insane. So if y'all see me go like this, it's making me feel dirty. But I got clean for myself, and it's the best thing that I could have done. And when I do, because like you, Regina, I too am fighting that battle. You know what I mean? And it's a struggle every day. Even if we don't want to get high, like me being an addict, I realized that the drugs And the obsession and the compulsion is just a symptom of a much deeper rooted issue. It's not, I got high and used drugs to escape my reality, to move away from what it was that was going on. Not like my addiction didn't start with drugs. You know what I mean? I wanted anything that felt good to me, I did it until it hurt. You know what I mean? It just so happened that drugs was the catalyst to actually make that come into fruition. But I will say this though, I'm grateful to be an addict. As weird as that might sound, I am grateful to have been through what I've been through because
Me too.
I have a program now. You know what I mean? I have morals. I have a deeper understanding.
Hold off, Colleen, because you are answering the next question. I'm going to
Oh.
ask this question that you go first because you are
Okay.
that's amazing. That was perfect. The last question is, we probably all heard this saying, and as now I know Colleen and myself has used this saying too. God put me through this so that I would be prepared for today. You know, I went through all those troubles for today, and so, who are you today and who are you helping from going through that? Colleen.
Okay. I Today I am a productive member of society.
Mhm.
You know, I am a productive member of society. I am gainfully employed. I advocate in my community, and those that I help those that don't know how to help themselves. You know, I didn't know how to help myself. I became a member of a fellowship, which is based off of attraction, not promotion. So I'm not promoting, but I'm telling you my story. I am a member of Narcotics Anonymous. And through that program, I have learned how to not only just live life on life's terms, but to accept life on life's terms. Life's going to happen whether you get high about it or not. You know what I mean? People are going to die. People are going to lose things. Cars are going to break down. You know, things are still going to happen. But I had to realize that if I think, you know, stuff is bad now, throw some dope on it and see if that makes it any better. You know what I mean? And so today I am a person that I'm a loving and caring person. And can I move a little backwards real quick, just 2 seconds style, to what you were saying, Ija, I too had experienced having um um I don't want to call it the honor, but I too have experienced being in a situation to where somebody that shunned me while I was getting high now is getting high and I'm clean. Um, I was very messy. I was nice, nasty, messy. You know what I mean? I didn't let you know I was being messy. I was just flogging. I was just flossing. You know what I mean? But the longer I stay clean, the more empathetic my heart becomes, and the more I want to help, the more I want to be like, listen, there's a better way. Like you don't, you know, I could take up this whole forum, but I'm not going to because I'm going to share the time. But thank you for letting me share.
I guess I'll go next. For me, ever since I was able to stop, it's like a lot of people never knew I even did drugs, but I did do them because when they came around, they just automatically assumed I was doing good. So people have always been drawn to me. So it's been my experiences and stuff that I've gone through that they know. They try to call me the old lady, but bitch, you're old. Anyways, but yeah, they're gonna naturally gravitate towards me. They're gonna come to me. They're gonna ask me this and that there. But it also, I mean, and I will help them. I'll tell them. And I'm kind of like Mulan said this a long time ago. I used to get mad, like mad, because I'm telling you this stuff because I've been there and I know exactly the ending result. But you're not it's like, to me, you're not listening. They may be listening because I understand that the addiction is real. But it gets exhausting, and it almost become like I really don't care. Like, you tell it to me, I'm gonna tell you the solution and leave it as that. I can't keep stressing on it. I mean, I understand, but I cannot keep stressing over your problems. Stop bringing your problems to me. You're not paying me.
I must say, finding my sobriety, finding a balance in my life has changed my life for the better all the way around. The one thing that I knew is that I would never come home and let my family see me how I was. So when I made a decision to move home, I knew it was a wrap, and I knew that I was done and ready to walk away. It didn't happen overnight, but that was one of the major reasons why my mother or my family weren't the people who I got sober for, because they weren't around when I was getting high. You know, my family didn't see me strung out and homeless and, you know, riding around trying to figure out where I was going to go. They didn't witness any of this. That was me and God. But I have gotten myself back together to the magnitude of, I work at UF, University of Florida, as a patient advocate. And I work with kids, the youth. I work at a homeless shelter where I help people that wouldn't even imagine me being in their shoes before. I work with my organization that I founded, and I'm the executive director, and I'm doing for the community. And my focus and my mission, of course, is the trans community. That's what my focus is. But I help everybody. I help everybody. I feed any and everybody. So if you knock on my door, I'm not going to turn you away because you're not trans. You know, so my world came together when I made that one decision, and that was to get my life together, and I asked God to walk with me. So now I'm at a place of euphoria. I'm happier than I've ever been in my entire life, because I have actually been able to start building my foundation.
Great.
I love each and every one of y'all, and I thank you all so much. These sessions are so healing. You just cannot imagine. They are so healing. And tonight, I want you to know, Aja, that you were one of my biggest inspirations growing up. And I never knew that you had ever been strung out on drugs. So tonight is my first time ever hearing your story. It's my first time. And guess what? You still, to this day, are one of my biggest inspirations.
I agree.
Tonight was amazing. I really enjoyed everyone here, and we have a few more minutes before we close out, right, Regina?
Yes, we do.
So let's do something new. Aja, our special guest, can you leave us with a story? Something that you want to share that can inspire someone else. And then after that, before we go off, everyone just say something to someone out there that may be going through the same thing. Because I'm looking at my Facebook, and it's a lot of people saying how powerful, how powerful this is what we're doing. So give us a story, or not even a story, something you want to say to someone who may be going through the same thing, or if you want to make us laugh because everyone knows you are crazy with a story.
Very much so.
Let's leave us with something.
No, is that okay? Wait a minute. How much more time do you guys have?
Like 10 minutes, 8 minutes.
Oh,
We
no,
know you
because I actually want. No, I have never been able to. This is my first time really telling my story, and for someone to listen to me. No one has ever took the time to hear me, And I've always wanted to tell that story because I still struggle. I mean, although it's been 30 something years of me being clean, I still remember every feeling about it. I mean, like when I see it, I start getting nervous, but I know what it does for me. And the most importantly, all I know is it, to me, it's going to kill me. And that's why I asked how much time do we have, but this gonna have to be another day because I wanted to explain the last time. I know this story was based on the first time, but I wanted to explain the last time I did drugs, that last day, which almost killed me. But y'all just invite me back and I'll tell that part the next time. But yeah, I mean, you just gotta stay strong, child, and believe in God. That's what I do know because that's what helped me through. Because I'm not supposed to be here. They deemed me dead first out of all the girls. But honey, oh, them children pushing up daisies and stuff, honey. And I'm not doing all that. Miss Thing, please. They killed me. The ones that already killed me. Those are the ones I'm talking about. The ones that are pushing up daisies. But oh, I'm just so thankful that you guys had me here today. Because I mean, you would just don't know. It feels good to tell my story. Even Mulan, she's been around me all this time. She don't listen to me. She listened to me today. And I've never told my story, so it felt really, really great. And I want to thank everyone.
Is there anyone in the audience? Any questions? Go ahead, Milan.
Aja, that's why you are here, because I did listen. And I want you to know that you are such an inspiration to me and to a lot of girls that came up doing sex work. You were inspiration.
Yeah, exactly.
For one, your story of getting off drugs. You're two, for living in the same place for over 30 years. That was an inspiration to some of us, and especially to me. You know what I'm saying? It let me know that, when everybody else was looking down on sex workers and everything, that we had someone to look up to push us to the next level and to be like, girl, you better get out that hotel, or girl, you got to get this together. Girl, you better learn how to save. You taught me the importance of saving. Quick story. One time, Aja, I'm gonna tell your business. One time Aja went to jail. This woman was able to pay her bills from jail. That there was inspiration to me, she wasn't, that showed me that, you could do anything you want to, when people look at us like looking down on us so much like that we have nothing or anything, she let us know you can be doing this and have something. This is the woman that got me into saving. You are inspiration to so many, and I just want to thank you, and that's why you were invited here today. We really appreciate you.
I wanted to say, is the like transgender community, we have sometimes such a bad name. And I'm so glad and excited to be a part of something like this because it gives us a positive light. And the things that I've been through, it's like, I don't want anybody else coming up under me to go through that. So I just think, I always thought that anything you go through is not for you, it's for someone else. And it was meant for me to push that girl not to go through that. And that's my whole mission. That's what keeps me strong. Being around women like you that's been through it and is not in it no more, that keeps me. So it's all in who you connect yourself with. I wanted to do drugs. I connected myself with drug addicts. I wanted to be clean. I connected myself with clean people. And that's how what I want to do. Is still a struggle. I fall just like anybody else, but I get up quickly. And I learn from not going into situations where that could happen again,
Okay, so I'm sorry. Okay. So if I could leave you guys with anything, I would have to say that it's very important for you to realize that you don't ever have to get high again. Even when you want to, you don't have to. And there's so much freedom in that. You know what I mean? There's so much freedom in knowing that you don't ever have to use again, even when you want to. Now, the most abnormal state for an addict to be in is clean, right? You know, we've spent years getting high. So when we're not getting high, we feel crazy, we feel bothered, you know, your significant other next to you breathing, stop breathing. You just feel like, you know, everything bothers you, but just
Yeah.
give yourself a chance. I didn't want to end this forum without giving somebody a resource to reach out for some help. Whether you're gay, trans, straight, black, white, Chinese, there's an organization, a website that I'd like to give you if you wanted to take note. It's the letter NA.org. Now, as I said, this is a program that I am a part of that is based off of attraction, not promotion, but awareness is the key. So it's NA.org. With this website, you can find meetings, you can find support groups, you can find housing, you can find you can find whatever you need. You go to NA.org and it'll prompt you to call the numbers in your area. And all you have to do is make that phone call and let somebody from that organization take it from there. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else like to say anything before we close out? And Regina, did you see anyone commenting?
That's what I was looking for. Naona was saying some stuff, but the message is not coming up for some reason. It cut it off. I have Ashley Figueroa told me to left a message saying she didn't know Aja had overcame those obstacles. Thank you for sharing, Aja. You and everyone on this panel make our world a better place. So many important voices being lifted on this live. I heard Aja was going to be here, so I couldn't miss it. Ashley Figueroa. Naona said, God walked with me. Woo, beautifully said. Okay.
She also said, and this is something I never really thought about, but it's true. Escorting is another addiction, one that many transgender women deal with, and it took me 6 years to fully transition from escorting. And I can honestly say that is so true. I can go in, but I'm a hush, but that is so true, and I never looked at it that way. Thank you for bringing that. That could be another show, girl.
Yeah. That would be good.
Well, y'all know we're gonna have plenty more. We're gonna have plenty more forums coming up.
Right.
So definitely, write down your ideas. And Mulan, I'll let you go ahead and take us out.
I just want to let everyone know out there watching, this is one of my favorite things to say because I am a true testament of it. Never let your past dictate your future. It's simple. That's all I have to say. Never let it dictate your future. And that's it for me.
And I just wanted to tell you all I love you once again. I cannot wait till we reconvene next month. Next month is going to be an amazing panel. We have Amaya Johns, the Amaya Johns, coming to join us.
I love her.
And we're definitely going to have Aja back.
Yes.
Because I think we need some of that spice on our panel.
Right.
But I enjoyed you all so much tonight. And I can't wait to see you the next time. And audience, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to watch us. We love you and see you next time.
Thank you, Colleen. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.